It is time to break the myth that you just need more leads to scale. After building 150 plus offers, here's what I have learned. Leads do not fix a broken offer. Today I'm going to show you the blueprint that we use to create offers which convert cold traffic that have never heard of you to converting consistently. Now, we've tested every version, guarantee, no guarantee, charging $500 to charging up to $25K. We've done for you and done with you. Here's where most coaches mess this up. More traffic will not fix a broken offer. After launching over 150 marketing campaigns for these offers, the truth is the offer itself determines 80% of your sales. Let me show you a real example. My company, Ben McDowell Coaching, builds end-to-end customized marketing systems for coaches and consultants. And the first thing we do for every single client is work on their offer. I have seen the patterns between how these combinations influence the success of the marketing campaign as well as the overall success of the business. And today I want to share with you the proof, the 4-stage blueprint we take all of our clients through in the hopes that you can use this to make your offer and marketing campaigns more successful. Jay's offer went from 10K to 50K per month using this, and Tracy's offer went from $900 to $39K. This new way of thinking shocked me when I first discovered it, because I went for 4 years thinking the wrong way, because I thought the biggest challenge to solve was getting more leads, and I was just solving for the wrong problem. I kept telling myself, if I can just get more eyeballs on my offer, I'll get more sales. But what if I told you that wasn't actually true at all? According to a survey conducted in the World Economic Forum from 2014 to 2022, consumer confidence in services has been plummeting. As we speak, it is in free fall. This means that even if you got more of the right people seeing your offer, they still would not necessarily trust you enough to pay. So let's break down the steps needed to convert in today's markets. Step 1 is to build an incredibly well-crafted offer. So what does that mean? Most coaches think they've nailed their niche until they try to explain it to a stranger. Another name for a stranger that has never heard of your offer is a cold prospect. They'll say things like, I help people grow their business, I help entrepreneurs make more money, or I help people lose weight. They haven't needed to get more specific because they haven't been able to tap into cold markets. The reason this doesn't work is because you sound like everybody else. So your offer is then pigeonholed in their mind with everyone else that has said something similar when you try and market it through things like organic content, cold DMs, and ads. This is why you struggle to get a response with those methods. To have strangers buy your offer, you need to structure it to appeal to cold markets. This is exactly why our client Abe's offer wasn't selling. It was to help fitness coaches get more clients. His niche was skeptical because of the thousands of others offering to get the same outcome in the same way. He needed a pay on results guarantee just to make sales, but had to then wait months to receive any kind of payment, and people would just use him for his time. I worked one-on-one with Abe, and within 7 days he had generated not just sales and cash up front, 5 bookings a week, and doubled his pricing. This pigeonholing occurs because there is nothing unique, nothing that makes the offer stand out. So whenever you tell somebody about what you do, there's nothing that stands out. There are literally thousands of offers that help people grow their business. There are millions of entrepreneurs, and while that is true, everyone is still trying to get these ideal clients and are struggling. If you can't define your avatar in a way that disqualifies 90% of the market, you will be compared to everyone else selling a similar service. It's not offers that solve new problems that scale quickly. It's offers that solve common, costly problems in a new way that scale quickly. This fast growth doesn't come from having expert closing skills. I took 1,600 sales calls and had to close $2 million in revenue in order to deem myself a good closer. Most people don't have that time. It doesn't come from having the best funnel, which takes hundreds of iterations and hundreds of hours, thousands of dollars to funnel builders. We can erase the cost of tens of thousands of dollars and up to 6 to 18 months of wasted effort just by getting the foundations in the offer right, which is why the first thing we do is a full end-to-end audit of that offer and adjust it to be cold friendly. I have been the person and worked with people who have spent over 2 years trying to sell an average offer, working 40 to 60 hours a week, are great coaches, spent tens of thousands of dollars working with the best in marketing, spending 50K or more on ads with no return on ad spend, but they're still unable to make more than 2 to 30K per month. I've also worked with people that have zero business experience, are working less than 4 hours a day, had zero prior experience serving clients, relied entirely on organic clients, and they flew past $20,000 a month from zero within weeks. The success of your ads, your funnels, your content, your team team members all hinge on your offer. Clarity here drives everything, and you may not know who specifically your offer is for. You may not know the time required to get results. You may not know the specific end result, activation points, or how to deliver that to clients at scale. These are all the really important components in making your offer stand out to cold markets. Once we got clear on the activation points for our offer, our revenue-based client wins went from 1 to 2 a week to 8 or more per week. And our clients began flooding our inbox with the messages below because we were onboarding more of the same kind of person, and we could make our delivery exactly the same for every single client because it was the same kind of business coming in. So a shameless plug, if you want us to rebuild your offer using this exact process and engineer it for cold traffic, the link to book a call is in the description just below. So to make your offer really sell well, you need to be clear on 2 main aspects: the person you are helping, along with what new way you are using with them to get their outcome, and then what are the specific things that need to happen to get them there. Think of it like your client is looking at flying to Thailand. The outcome is the destination. The specific things to get to the destination are buying the tickets, boarding the airplane, buckling up, and getting off at the end. First place of focus is the target market. This has the strongest influence on the success of your offer. Most people have an idea of who they're targeting, but they are too broad, and so their marketing efforts do not create the desired response. The target market and marketing efforts are the signal that you send out. If that signal is too broad, then it is weak and it will not pull in the kind of clients that you want. Every defining detail added to your target market creates an important point of difference from your competitors, making you stand out. So we have the weight loss niche. You could have, I help women lose weight. There are 2 defining details: women and losing weight. And then we have a more specific target market: women going through menopause that have tried all the diets, but they're still unable to control their weight. There are 4 defining details here: women, menopause, tried all the diets, unable to control their weight. Here are some questions to find out your defining details. What age are they? What solutions have they tried? How long have they had this problem? What is their ideal outcome over the next 6 months? Are they married or not? This may be relevant depending on your niche. The whole of your fulfillment and client delivery is appropriate to the clarity of who you're serving. Every answer becomes a qualification point, which exists inside of a criteria checklist we have on how to know someone is the right fit for our offer. We then take this criteria when we work with a client, and we use it when we help them scale their ads to guide their organic content, their setting process, and their sales calls to attract the right person. If we get the right person in, we can pretty much guarantee results. Because of this, sales calls become less about convincing and more about creating a kind of vacuum. The prospect pulls themselves through because they're qualifying themselves like you would going for a job interview, which reverses a lot of the sales-based issues that people go up against when they feel like they have to try and push and convince on sales calls. This is why staying broad, because you don't want to lose potential clients, is not a good plan anymore. It's very common for people to feel this way. By now, you are beginning to see that staying broad is what is causing you to lose clients. The fear of losing out on potential clients is valid, but only because you lack a system to find and pull in the right clients. The trap that most get in is they get to that level of specificity needed with their target market, but then they don't get a system in place to pull enough of that target market into the sales process. That is an entirely different issue. I'll cover in another video, but it is important to know that it is not a valid reason to stay broad. You should not have the thought that most people have, which is, I just want to make some money staying broad and then I'll go more specific. The market of coaching, consulting, it's too saturated now for anyone that enters at a broad level to be successful reliably. The purpose of your business is to get client results. Not cleaning up things here dilute the results you can create. Helping people lose weight will attract anything from wanting to lose 5 pounds to 200 pounds. These are 2 completely different outcomes and completely different mechanisms that you would use to deliver. Because of this, it requires a lot more time and energy to deliver results. Your fulfillment costs will be higher, so your profits will be lower, making it harder for you to scale and impact more people. A big reason you can't scale is because serving a very large, broad market means every client needs customized delivery. They each have different problems coming in. If you've been relying on referrals or word of mouth, you will know exactly how this feels. Because everyone's needs are different coming in, it's almost impossible for a team member to ever be as good as you at delivery. This means you will always have to keep doing one-on-one sessions, working one-on-one with every single client, and have those thoughts that no one could do this as well as me, and I can't scale because it would mean I wouldn't get as good results as I currently am getting. Ask yourself, at what point could you ever scale past 50K per month, have 30 plus clients on the books, or have the freedom of your time doing it this way? Think of it like this. You're trying to drive a different friend each to a different home through a snowstorm and there is no road, as opposed to driving the same friend to the same home, building the same road once. Floodlights are there to guide you and the barriers are up protecting you from the elements. So step 2 is defining the transformation, the outcome that you deliver. So once you know exactly who you're serving, the next question is, where are you taking them? It is important here to not get hung up on what's possible. Of course, don't promise something that is impossible, such as to help someone fly. But it should be a difficult outcome to produce, because if it were easy, why would anyone pay you money? If you're just helping people lose weight, why is it worth more than a weight loss bar? Just imagine you had a genie that could grant any wish within the laws of this universe, and as long as the client does precisely what you instruct, they will get the outcome. Similar to our menopause example, here's the formula I use with clients. I help who achieve result in time frame without big sacrifice or frustration. The example, I help men lose an extra 20 pounds in 90 days without restricting diets or loads of cardio. I help female coaches scale to 50K per month with a whiteboard method. This is the offer of one of our old clients, Jay Ude. When you write yours, make it simple enough that a 10-year-old could repeat it back to you, but also they would be curious about it. This is the essence of what will get your offer converting to cold markets. If you have to explain it twice or they look confused, then it's too complicated. If you walked up to a 10-year-old child and told them what you did, would they understand? The only way to grow your business is to tap into cold markets that haven't heard of you before, because otherwise the only people to sell are the ones who know you already. Getting this right is what will allow you to cease having to rely on your friends, your family, and your network. Because many have this fear that if they get too specific, they will be trapped. Just remember that it's normal to evolve your offer so that you have an aim. Just start with an aim, something you can get better at and niche down into. This is how I went from 0 to 50K per month within 7 months, while other people struggled to hit 10K per month over 5 years. I just kept niching down and increasing my prices for more wealthy audiences. But if you aim at nothing, you hit nothing. Every new level of clarity comes from an iteration. And if you're not making iterations, or you're making incorrect iterations, you could be going further away from the outcomes you want. Our current offer is version 12 of what I was offering 3 years ago. The goal here isn't to change direction entirely, it's to use your experience so far to develop your service for higher value. That way you can create enough difference from your competition that people actually see your brand and your service. Step 3 is identifying the activation points. What specifically must happen to get a result? These activation points are the milestones that must be achieved for your client to get the transformation, regardless of how you help them. Think of these as the non-negotiable steps of the journey. For example, if you help men lose 30 pounds in 60 days, their activation points might be that they are following an exercise plan you created for them every single day. They have filled in exercise tracker and they have worked out every single day. They are losing 5 pounds a week. And from day 60, they're only messaging you once a week and still maintaining progress. If you look at losing 30 pounds, what are the facts broken up that need to happen to achieve that outcome? These are the steps of the journey to creating the result. They are not coaching calls or modules or courses. They are the checkpoints that have to happen in reality. Our offer's activation points are that the client has an attractive, scalable offer and magnetic marketing message. The client has a scalable funnel which nurtures and converts new leads into qualified bookings. The client has a reliable system to pull in qualified leads in front of their offer and into this funnel. The client has the sales skills to convert the qualified bookings into high ticket sales. The client has an attractive back-end offer they can upsell clients into, which increases the lifetime value of the client, how much they spend. The client can make data-driven decisions to improve their sales conversions. Not knowing your activation points makes it incredibly difficult to create client results at scale, and it makes it near impossible to delegate. So much happens on the journey from their current state to the outcome they want. We need to know how a client is progressing during the program at any given time to create progress. Having these points will also help us explain our offer in a way a prospect can get their head around before or during sales calls, so they can make a decision, because you only have 45 to 60 minutes to convert. Step 4 is designing the mechanisms, how you help them get there, their result. Now that you've mapped out what needs to happen, it's time to design how you'll make it happen faster, easier, and in a way that every single person who joins will hit every single activation point. Mechanisms are the tools, assets, systems, and support structures that make each activation point achievable and inevitable. But do not be an unlimited one-on-one coaching done for you, unlimited access to me on WhatsApp or Voxer. Everyone offers that. Be a we will do whatever it takes to get you results offer, meaning you do what's required to get the transformation, whether that means consulting, implementing, mentoring, or automating parts of the work to be done. We switched from this way of thinking of here is what we do to here is the outcome we will generate with you. The greatest offers I've seen combine coaching, chat support done for you, anything that is required to get the result. And they're always updating it, making it more effective for their clients. All these are important to achieve consistent results. Not to mention that saying you are a done for you service or you do lots of one-on-one coaching is just not enough to convince convince someone to work with you. Your audience just hears it all day, so we need lots of different mechanisms and features because any one thing could be the difference between someone choosing you or your competition. Example, you could have automated calorie tracking to reduce entering macros manually if you're in the fitness niche, plug and play meal and workout plans that remove guesswork, one-on-one coaching and weekly accountability loops that keep the plan in motion, easy at-home exercises to reduce time cost. You could have a one-on-one message and call from a designated coach every day for the first 30 days to ingrain the workout habit. Here's a mental model that'll change the way you think about offers forever, which comes from Alex Hormozi. The less time and sacrifice your client has to make to achieve the result, the more valuable your offer becomes. If they can get the same outcome faster with less confusion and less effort, they'll happily pay more and make decisions faster. That's why all of this matters so much. It's how you compress the time to results. Instead of thinking, what can I give them? Think, what can I take away from them? I used to give our clients a course, group support calls, and chat support. After asking myself this question, I changed things. Now, I take away the headache of spending hundreds of hours trying to work out ads by themselves, building your email, your SMS flows, funnels, email sequences, writing copy for your content, paying multiple people on Fiverr to build it all, trying to get all that converting, making errors with hiring the wrong people and spending months only to realize that it hasn't been able to generate you results, which is very frustrating. I take away the leads issue by launching the Prospect Floodgate so they have leads within 48 hours of joining, which is one of the greatest perceivable issues of our target market. I couldn't do all that myself though for the number of clients we have now. So I have created a system that does it for and with them, with a coach guiding them every single step of the way to make sure that it converts. So ask yourself this: how can you remove the unnecessary steps they're taking, the pain, the frustration from the journey? What can you do for them as soon as they join to create momentum early? The best offers are not the most complex. They're the ones that make the win feel simple and inevitable quickly. So invest time to work on your offer. This will be the most valuable few hours you ever spend, more valuable than grinding away on marketing or fulfillment. If you want us to help you build this out so your offer actually converts to cold traffic within the next 7 days, then book a call below.